This is the MMA Power Hour coming at you here on a Wednesday night. I got tons of energy here for some reason tonight. I don't know why. Too much caffeine, maybe. Anyway, jump on in here. We've got a killer show for you, and I really look forward to it. Why don't we bring in the most awesome co-host and producer in the world, Lion Fist, Dr. Adam Roorda. Roar in here.
Roar.
How's it going, Lion? You look great.
Another day in paradise.
Yeah, isn't it indeed? Man, we have a fun show for everyone here, don't we?
Yeah, for sure.
Really
sure.
Really looking forward to it.
I've got some camera lag here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But anyways, want to go ahead and just jump right into some things because we're running behind a few minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in, Marcus. Yeah, definitely. It's time to feel the power. And I don't know if Colin, are you planning on tuning into the Wilder versus Ortiz?
You know, I am thinking about it. I like Deontay Wilder a lot. If I can get this darn thing in my ear here, I like Deontay Wilder a lot. I think he's probably the best heavyweight boxer out there. So I may just consider doing that. I've got some friends that are asking me out to a few different places. I should have said I have several friends inviting me over to great, luxurious surroundings. No, I'll probably watch it at a sports bar with a couple of people, But yeah, maybe so. And Mark, I may indeed do that. I hope you're going to get to see it as well. I think that's going to be a great fight. The big man Deontay Wilder is definitely a force in the world of boxing, no doubt. So
definitely. Well, I know I may not be tuning into that because I'm going to be watching Overeem. Just annihilate.
Well, I sorry to interrupt you, but that is a different week. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's
yeah. This is the Wilder. I think is this weekend, and then the Overeem is actually I think 2 weeks from Saturday.
Oh, it is. It is. Mm-hmm. That's my bad for getting the weeks messed up.
No problem.
I'm excited for that one. Deontay.
Yeah. Yep. Hard to say.
I'm not as excited about it as you are.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm so super busy right now, but I will be catching every other fight on that card.
Without a doubt. Speaking about Overeem, have you noticed who he's fighting? Is this a man that I've been talking about for about 6 months?
Yeah, I did notice that.
Jairzinho, the Surinamese. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, or Jairzinho Rozenstruik. That guy is a beast. It seems like if he touches you, you're done. That's pretty much it. Have you noticed that, Adam?
Yeah, I have noticed that.
And Alistair Overeem has a lot of miles on him. He's an amazing fighter. I think he's no longer training at Jackson Wink. He's somewhere else doing something, maybe in Holland, eating some horse meat or something. I don't know. But tough guy. When he was Ubereem and there was no USADA and he was 280 pounds of solid rock muscle, this could have maybe been a little bit better matchup, and his chin had not been checked as much. But the Alistair Overeem of 245 pounds, and with a lot of mileage on him, I think he may be up against it here against Rozenstruik. However, he is 4 inches taller and a lot more experience. So this is, I think this is a fight that is kind of like a test. Obviously, it's a test, but I think it's kind of like going to be like a proving grounds of maybe possibly a passing of the torch, so to speak, if Rozenstruik is up to it. And he may not be. I mean, Overeem, I don't think he wants to be done yet, even though at 37 or 38. But having started when he was 19, like a lot of our heavyweight fighters are starting when they're 25 or 27 or some even 30, and then they're 38. That's not deep into their career. But Alistair Overeem's been fighting professionally, I think, for 18 years. And so he's a 37 or 38 with a lot of mileage on him. Anyway, it should be a tough, interesting fight. And
yeah, I think he's going to take that one. But that's coming up, 2 weeks from now? So.
Yeah, 2 weeks from Saturday. You got Overeem in that one. You think he'll be too much experience for Rozenstruik?
I do think so.
Yeah, it could very well be, and he's got so many skills. It'll definitely be a barometer to whether the man from Suriname is ready. He trains with Tyrone Spong, who is one of the baddest kickboxers in history, and also from Suriname. So he's got a great corner man. Speaking of which, the other really exciting up-and-comer in heavyweight is Cyril Gane, who's from France, and he trains with I think Francis Ngannou. And what's amazing about Gane, he's a former high-level kickboxer, but half of the fights he wins by submission, and he's a striker. The last one he won by heel hook, which is, I think they said, one of only 2 or 3 heel hook wins in the UFC heavyweight division history. So Cyril Gahn's a tough guy. He's going to be facing Tanner Boser, a guy who I saw look really good in Boston. So that should be interesting. Anyway, we're only 2 minutes away from having our first guest here. So if you wanted to get working on that, Doc.
I'm ready. Once our first guest, I'm always going to be ready for Colin. In the meantime, I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in here on Fight TV. Make sure to hop on over to YouTube. Just search for us. You should be able to find it, MMA Power Hour. Don't go to our channel, but look at our videos more recently over on the Hannibal TV.
Yes.
And if you're catching us on the Hannibal TV or anywhere else, make sure to go on over to Fight TV. It's fight.tv. You can download their app, or you can even watch it directly on their website there. It is for free. They do ask you to sign up. You actually don't have to, I don't think, but I do recommend getting signed up, getting the emails and notifications for the stuff that you like to watch, especially us. Make sure to go on over to our Facebook page and give us a like. It's just facebook.com/MMA Power Hour. Get on over to Instagram. It's at MMA Power Hour. Pretty easy, guys. It's always going across the top here if you haven't noticed. And yeah, huge shout out to New You. Go on over to newupro.com where you can pick up some awesome CBD products. Colin's the man to talk to about that. You can catch up with him directly as well to purchase the CBD products. Like he's saying, call him. Also, I want to say thank you so much to everybody that is tuning in every week and catching our Facebook page. Over there, we have an awesome stream of news coming through. It's being fed to us by none other than combatpress.com, where every fight has a story. They're your number one go-to source for all combat sports related news, and they do have probably the most notorious and in the best way possible notorious kickboxing rankings.
Yes.
And I do believe and feel their MMA rankings are probably the best out there right now too.
They really do. Very respected and used as references for many fight organizations and fighters. And it's almost like becoming the ratings on Combat Press are almost like the fighter records on SureDog. They're really that sharp and that on point. So definitely want to check that out. The man with the beard, Rob Tatum, is one of the best.
Definitely head on over to combatpress.com. Now I'm going to go ahead and call our main man up here.
That's it. The first
he is
guest.
Ready.
All right. Let's see if we can get rocking. See that Skype dance going here. Hey, Curran, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you, but I cannot see your beautiful face, my friend.
I appreciate that, my friend. Well, we see your beautiful face. That's the only important thing. You'll see the green screen, but as long as you're in the square, then we're good to go. We're going to throw your picture up on the screen here in a minute, but first let me give you that great introduction that you deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, so happy to have back on the show a man I call a friend of mine from Michigan. It reminds me of myself when I was younger, if I was a way better athlete than I was. And this and this man is the world catch wrestling champion. He is now a professional MMA fighter, just having won his first fight by submission in less than 1 minute. We are talking about the awesome man from Michigan, former captain of the Michigan State Spartans wrestling team, Mr. Curran Jacobs. Welcome back to the show, Curran.
Thank you, my man. Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
It has, man. It has, man. Last time was a lot of fun. It had some funny stuff there where Adam was had to get called away from running the boards and things were going, and you got to see it unfold. And I handled it like a champ, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
As always.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a fun and funny moment. But anyway, man, I'll tell you, one thing is funny. I know you won that great tournament of the Snake Pit with those three matches, but I think in a row. And I think that maybe for a few months they've been up. I know originally it was hard to see the entire videos, but man, I just watched those videos. I think just two of them with the Johnny Buck and then the other guy before. Who were the three guys that you beat in the same night a year ago?
Johnny Buck was first, and we went almost 30 minutes.
Yep.
And then it was Eric Hammer, who was Josh Barnett's longtime training partner and really good friend.
Right.
And we went about 25 minutes, and then I went 34 minutes with Brandon Ruiz.
Nice. I watched the Hammer and the Buck fights, and both of them I think ended with submissions by rear naked choke, right?
I call it a sleeper hold because of my catch wrestling.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. More famously known as a rear naked choke. I got all 3 of them in a rear naked choke.
That's awesome. And one of the things that I noticed, along with, man, how much size you were giving away and the fact that you still beat these guys, but just your tenacity and your skill. I remember that after those 3 matches, which were like, what, 20 to 30 minutes each, back to back to back, it looked like someone had taken your face and run it across the gravel road. I never forget that, man. Your face had so many welts on it. How long did it take for that to heal, man? That was incredible.
First of all, taking a shower later that night absolutely sucked.
Yes.
I tell you, I had security come and knock on my door asking us if everything was okay because I took the antibacterial dial soap.
Wow.
And I had to wash my face, and it was brutal. It took about 3 weeks. I actually had to see a dermatologist and get a special cream to ensure that I had no scarring on my face.
Yeah, and it looks like you don't. You look as good looking as always.
Thank you, my brother.
You're welcome, my brother.
That.
You're welcome. And I'll tell you that the tenacity and the pain you had to deal with there, I think, was so enormous that I really think you're very well prepared for MMA. I know you were undefeated in an amateur career, and then that was a few years back. But coming back in here to pros, man, I think you're ready for the pain. I think you have absolutely the ability to go to that place and to handle it, don't you?
Yeah, man, over a very long career, I've kind of found the secret ingredient, how to prepare physically, but more importantly, mentally.
Yeah.
And after that tournament, that really solidified, my thinking on MMA. It was up in the air when I achieved the #1 spot. I was the #1 middleweight in Michigan as an amateur, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I didn't really know if I wanted to continue on. But after winning that tournament, it really left me no more questions. I was like, if I can do that, I can fight anybody.
Without a doubt. And you know what it reminded me of? And this will show my age a bit, but I could pretend I was 6 years old when I was watching these fights, which I was not. But I wasn't. Let's just say I was fairly young. But I remember watching Evander Holyfield back in his heyday, and I was a boxing fan since I was a kid, and I remember that he just, especially in the first 10 years of his career, and even later in his career, he was still great. But in those first 10 years, his will and his determination was so strong that it's like you just could not imagine this guy losing. Like I remember when he fought Michael Dokes, who was an amazing former champion then, and he was about 25 pounds heavier than Holyfield. They were beating the crap out of each other, and I just remember thinking, man, this guy Holyfield is so mentally strong. I just don't think you can break this guy. And then he finally caught Dokes. And then when Holyfield went up against George Foreman, and if you haven't seen that, or any of you guys watching have not seen that fight, it was epic. I think it was 1991 or 2. And George Foreman, even though he was 41 or 2 years old, he's always was one of the most powerful, hardest punching men in boxing. He was about 40 or 50 pounds heavier than Holyfield, and they beat the crap out of each other. Foreman was hitting Holyfield with punches that he was knocking guys through the ropes, like Mike Tyson. He was. I remember he hit a guy so hard the guy's hair flew up in the air, when he hit him, right? and he was hitting Holyfield with these shots that were just devastating, and Holyfield would just roar back and hit him with a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 punch combination. And then to George's, to a testament to George, he would come back and throw 2 or 3 bombs. And but anyway, your determination and your warrior spirit, man, is just absolutely impressive, and I think is going to carry you far, my friend.
Thank you, my man. Listen, I failed so many times, and I think that's why I am where I am now. I lost the state championship. I was one match away from becoming an All-American.
Yep.
And looking back on that, it was because I'm a late bloomer. I didn't truly 100% believe in myself up until 4, maybe 5 years ago, a few years after my collegiate career. So here I am now.
That's it, man. Well, you're the best you could be. And I really find that to be the case a lot, man. I think you're 30, 31, right?
I'm 31.
A lot of people don't come into their own or their prime until then, and especially in your late teens and early 20s, almost nobody. is really as good as they're going to be, or as mentally strong as they're going to be. So it makes sense. Once in a while someone is, but usually not. So I think you're coming along at a great at a great clip. But I wanted to tell you that, man, your how can I say this? The speed that you put on those chokes, the sleeper rear naked choke, is really impressive. That's one thing I noticed, and I'm a purple belt in BJJ, and so I'm still learning. And one of the things that I noticed is the speed that you put on the chokes reminded me kind of Damian Maia. And if you look at that last match with Maia where he beat Ben Askren, as soon as he saw the opportunity, and he only had one arm to do it. I don't know whether Askren was holding his other wrist or whatever, but he slapped the choke on and he put it at an angle that was so perfect that he just put his head behind it and locked it. And not only was the speed of it amazing, but the angle, and I'm like, damn, that's what high level grappling is, and I can tell because I'm not there yet, but maybe one day. But yeah, no, you impressed the hell out of me with how quickly you slap those chokes on. That's like serious high level stuff, man. So I wanna give you a big compliment on that.
Thank you very much.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Yeah.
That will serve you well, absolutely in the future. So man,
Yes.
yeah, definitely a lot of work I'm sure you put in on that, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's what it's all about, is drilling, and that's what I've taken into grappling, that a lot of most Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu players aren't familiar with. And wrestling, you spend hours and hours of just, reps. So being able to practice with high level grapplers, high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu players that taught me to keep my limbs close and to watch out for those chokes, they've really given me the confidence to go out there and do what I work so hard in during training.
Absolutely. Now, question for you. In the catch wrestling, you wore wrestling shoes because it was allowed. In MMA, you're not allowed to do that. I remember in the early days with Dan Severn, Mark Coleman, Mark Kerr, and these guys, and I think actually at some points in all of their careers, they were allowed to wear the shoes, Randy Couture, but I think shortly after that, that was no longer allowed. And I remember them saying, that's actually going to take these guys a little time to get used to. Now, you did have 3 amateur MMA fights, and so you had experience with it. But is that something that is a little bit of a transition at all, or was it originally to have to go barefooted, or what's your take on how it was when you first had to do that, and where you're at as far as being able to do that now?
Yeah, so check this out. My first amateur fight, it is on YouTube. I look like a wild man. I'm throwing haymaker left and right like an absolute maniac.
Yep.
And one of the biggest reasons why is I made a huge mistake training with wrestling shoes the entire camp. I think I trained 2 months for that fight, leading up to that fight, and I wore wrestling shoes all the way up to it. So during the fight, walking in there barefoot, I felt naked.
Yeah.
I felt vulnerable. And I kind of panicked a little bit, and that's why I blazed forward.
Right.
And fortunately, I caught him because, the nerves and the adrenaline were really working against me.
For sure.
So after that fight, I pledged, to never train for MMA, especially with wrestling shoes on. I wrestle barefoot now. The only exception is when I'm preparing for a catch wrestling match, because shoes are obviously, they really help out a lot as far as traction, and so catch wrestling matches, I'll train with shoes on. MMA, not a chance.
Makes sense. Which of your opponents in that 8-man tournament where you fought 3 fights in that same night, which one of those guys went without the shoes? Was that Hammer?
No, that was Johnny Buck.
What was up with that? Yeah, did it surprise you?
Which surprised me because he's a Division I wrestler. He's a Bellator veteran.
Yeah.
Very well respected grappler. I think that he really is loyal to the 10th Planet BJJ system.
Yes, I saw that.
I think that that's why he went barefoot. Another guess would probably be toe holds, ankle locks. It's a lot easier to slip out of submissions barefoot than it is with shoes on.
Yes. Yes.
So
that makes sense. Speaking of which, did you see that YouTube video, or it was on Facebook or somewhere? You got to look at it. Dean Lister, the boogeyman, put it out there. If you remember, he was one of the first Americans to win, I think, at Abu Dhabi, to win everything. And yeah, he was amazing. He put out a video which is really pretty funny. He's a really good guy. I've met him once, where he's demonstrating. He was trying to demonstrate a toe hold on one of his on one of his students, and he said, okay, and he's got the guy's foot under his armpit, and he's starting to show it, and he goes, okay, now here's what you want to do, and the guy pulls his foot out, and he said, all right, very funny. He goes, all right, now I'm trying to show this, and then he does this, pulls it out, then he puts it in, and he kind of tucks it, and he goes, now try to get out now. And then the guy turns his foot and pulls it out, and Dean Lister starts chasing him. It's really funny. It's like the guy's screwing up the demonstration, especially that second one where Dean really digs in there, and then he goes, try it now, and the guy just turns his foot to the right and pulls it out. You gotta see that. And,
I'll check it out. You said it's on YouTube?
I think it is either YouTube or Facebook. But what I like is that Dean put it out there. I mean, if his student would have put it out there just to make Dean look bad, I wouldn't have liked that. But Dean obviously saw the humor in it.
That's hilarious.
It really is, and especially though. But it made me, as just a purple belt, actually think, I'm like, oh wow, wait a second. So if someone's really digging in and getting your foot under their armpit, you're just turning it way over to the side and you pull it out. And I'm like, great. And I never thought of that. So it actually helped me. Yeah. So yeah, sure, you knew that, definitely for many years. But man, well, you won in Michigan that first fight, 57 seconds. And I know we talked about it before then, and you were really prepared, and you were kind enough to even let me share some insight I had for you, and I really appreciate that. This guy, no problem. This guy, and I really appreciate it. This guy, he kind of rushed you. You landed the takedown, and he really didn't get a chance to try anything tricky at all, or did he?
No, I was actually really shocked. I get in there. Well, first of all, I get in there and I raise my fist and I go, I gave him one of these, like, hey, we're going to touch gloves?
Yep.
He was like,
waved it off? No. Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, okay. All right, man. It's on. Yeah. So right when the bell rang, I went forward, and I immediately, I could just tell that his energy, he was coming after me. He wanted to knock my head off my shoulders.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised that he was moving forward. I mean, I went in thinking he was going to kind of stand his ground and pick his shots, but he came in, he swung that hard right, and I ducked. I felt his fist glide over my head, and I just took him down and swarmed him, Khabib style.
I love it. Also reminiscent of your good friend, the natural Randy Couture, in some of his early matches. And yep. And this guy didn't even try that Jorge Masvidal flying knee, did he?
Hey, secretly, I'm going to expect that every single time I fight now.
And that's one of the things I told you. I said, just in case, don't let this guy look like he's going to run to the side and then duck your head down like this, and then, and then get caught. But speaking of that happening, Ben Askren was an amazing competitor. He is now retired. What's your, everyone realizes the guy was amazing. It's unfortunate that he didn't get his shot in the UFC until he had competed for like 7 or 8 years. I mean, I don't think it's going to take you that long to get to the big time. You never know. But I just think that Dana White didn't really like his style. But he was really amazing. What do you think? If you could give me your opinion as from a high level grappler and fighter that you are, what can we look back on Ben Askren and say? We can look back and say he was one of the best collegiate wrestlers probably ever to compete, or at least in the top 10 in MMA. He had an amazing style where he would ragdoll everyone. He did catch Robbie Lawler. He got caught by a knee by Jorge Masvidal, which was really not, I think, anything that shows him sucking as a fighter, as much as the fact that Masvidal kind of baited him into looking like he was going to run away and then ran at him. And then for his next loss, he did really, really well against an amazing Damian Maia. So I think he leaves without leaving any sort of a crappy legacy. Yes, he did lose 2 out of 3 UFC fights, but I don't really think those fights are anything to be embarrassed or ashamed about that make him look really bad as an overall MMA competitor. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely not. And the biggest thing that I always say to everyone is most people will live their entire lives and never experience that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Ben Askren came in, all eyes were on him. You know, he did do a lot of talking, but throughout his career and even back during his collegiate career, I mean, he's a talker. He is an entertainer, phenomenal athlete. I think that what he has done throughout his athletic career is just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. And he has solidified himself as, you know, one of the best wrestlers to ever compete in MMA. The man did amazing things, and it's kind of unfortunate that people are going to remember the Masvidal knee.
Yeah.
Are going to remember the Damian Maia submission.
Yeah.
But I just think that he is a remarkable athlete, just absolutely tough as nails. That guy, you know, he made us wrestlers proud.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sad to see him go. I feel like he could do a lot more, but you never know what he has planned for himself, and he's really intelligent.
Yeah.
So whatever he's got going on is probably the best. It's probably you know, best for him to move on to the next adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of my jiu-jitsu brothers told me something really interesting. I don't know if it's true or not, and if it is, then it really kind of means he's absolutely forced to move on. Apparently, he has some sort of injury, and I know you guys that have grappled for years, it takes an enormous toll on the body. For some people, the toll is even worse than for others. But apparently, some sort of injury in his hip joints or his hips itself, right? And that he has to have a surgery where the doctors have said when they fix this and put this back together, if he had any kind of dramatic impact or serious, you know, shock, you know, by being thrown or landed, thrown on the ground or kicked or whatever, that he could be paralyzed. And so it's kind of like he's saying basically the only way he could ever compete at MMA again is if he's willing to risk being paralyzed with having his structure being severely compromised by this surgery. So, you know, that's the case, then, you know, there really is no other choice for him, and that's unfortunate. But that wrestling, that funky wrestling, was really amazing. The fact that he, you know, really his wrestling. I mean, it's really too bad they could never have made that Khabib fight, because I think so many people, right, would have been just amazing, wouldn't it? Because you know, see that Dagestani Sambo and top powerful top game crushing control wrestling, and then Ben's funky freestyle wrestling and just the stuff he does, and it, you know, man, that would have really been amazing. But he was incredible. But it definitely shows how much wrestling can still do in the sport. And what I want everyone to know, you know, what I want everyone to know that I think is really, really interesting about Curran Jacobs here and what he brings is the catch wrestling and the submissions that Curran has, having done it for many, many years. And the D1 collegiate wrestling that he brings is a very unusual combination. Ben Askren was kind of getting the submissions, but I think had only kind of worked on it for maybe 4 or 5 years. And I think you've worked on submissions for about twice that, haven't you, Curran?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ben was kind of still learning the submissions. The only other examples you have is Jake Shields, who was a good jiu-jitsu black belt. His wrestling was good, but not quite like a D1 wrestler. You have Damian Maia, who's also jiu-jitsu was amazing, but wrestling also not quite like a D1 wrestler.
Right.
So who is the guy that has, I think, Chris Weidman to an extent in his prime, and even he, I don't feel, had the submissions that you have. So I honestly think, and I've told you this before, Curran, and I really believe it, that your tenacity, your strength, your conditioning, D1 wrestling, and not only amazing submissions, but these catch wrestling submissions make you really kind of a unique MMA competitor that I don't think we've seen yet.
Well, thank you very much. You know, it's been a long road, many years, a lot of hours of hard work.
Yeah.
And now's the time. now's the time. Just had my fight on Saturday, and that's definitely the plan. I definitely plan on climbing straight to the top.
Yep.
You know, the only guys that I'm going to run into who will pose challenges are high level Division I wrestlers, but at the same time, they lack what I have, and that is many years of submission training as well as catch as catch can submission knowledge.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be
So,
huge. So all it comes down to really is getting your striking as good as it can. Even if you didn't get it that great, I still think what you have is amazing. But if you get your striking even decent, then I think you're going to be, I mean, even without it, you'll be fine. But with even decent striking, I think you'll be good. And correct me if I'm wrong, but in Michigan, even though you were a wrestler and I wasn't a wrestler growing up, everyone in Michigan, it seems like kids are always punching stuff. Every kid almost has a punching bag in their house. Am I right?
yeah, hey, and you're a Michigander.
Yeah.
I was backyard boxing
Yes.
at like 9 years old, 10
Nice.
years old with my brothers and my cousins, and
Nice.
and even had my little sister get in there every so often, put on the gloves.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of country folk Michiganders. They just were kind of born experimenting with combat, backyard, backyard brawling. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, growing up, I had access to punching bags, and my dad is a longtime martial artist, and so is my older brother. And so, just passing on the knowledge to me at a very young age kind of gave me that warrior spirit at a very young age, and it's just it's bloomed finally in the last 5 years. So
Yep. And I think being young and understanding the dynamics of moving and getting some pop on your punches, the fact that you were doing that when you were a kid really helps, because you look at someone like Damian Maia and even someone like Ben Askren, both of them brilliant fighters, but I don't have a feeling that they had the punching bag when they were a kid, and that they just started to kind of get the dynamics of throwing punches when they were maybe 25 years old or something, or even 30. And I think that's why it's just they weren't really able to get even kind of a mediocre skill set. But I will bet that since you've been doing it since you were a kid, you probably have a little bit of pop on your punch. Not to try to give away a secret, but I have a feeling that you, if we're trying to say, can you get to at least decent striking, I would have a feeling you're probably there now. Am I right?
Well, I'm working with one of the best in my opinion. He is Rashad Evans' first MMA coach. He's the one that led Rashad through the Ultimate Fighter 2
Awesome.
to win that contract, and that's Joaquin Rodriguez with Murcielago MMA, and he's got some killers on his squad, and they've been giving me a lot of their knowledge in exchange for my catch wrestling knowledge and my ground knowledge. But the biggest thing is just overcoming the fear of getting hit. You just have to accept you're going to get hit and move forward and inflict your own damage. But nobody's going to see that until somebody can stop my takedown, which I believe very few will be able to. Very few. No one has been, everyone that I've sparred and trained with has been unsuccessful in stopping me from taking the fight to the ground. And then once it's on the ground, I apply that pressure, and it's damn near impossible for them to get back up to their feet.
Absolutely. And I think at 185, it's not a division known for amazing collegiate wrestlers in either UFC or Bellator. I'm sure there's someone I'm maybe not thinking of now. I guess Weidman until he moved up, but he's toward the end of his career. But there's not a ton. And so yeah, no, I think that's going to be absolutely a skill set that's going to be incredible. Well, we've only got a couple, maybe a few minutes left, Curran. So I'm going to say, I know you're on good terms with Randy Couture. You're a friend of his, and also at least an acquaintance and on good terms with Josh Barnett. So you've got some high-level people looking out for you. And so I really believe that it won't be that hard for you to get an in somewhere. I believe that with Randy and Josh both being with Bellator, that might be on your radar before the UFC. Am I right?
It's certainly looking like it. It's certainly looking like it. Can't go into too many details, but that you know, I do have. Randy's been a longtime friend and mentor, and now Josh is a mentor, and that's exactly where they are. So I would be absolutely honored and thrilled to go that route.
That would be amazing. I'd love to see that. Can you guess? Here's that old trivia question, and this is probably going to be putting you on the spot. And if you get,
all right, give it. Let's go.
If you get the answer, I'm going to be shocked because I think 0 out of 100 people will get it. When was the last time, or at least one of the few times, Randy and Josh, I'm pretty darn sure, were in the same guy's corner? And I'll give you a hint. It was in Pride. Who was the guy?
Oh no. Okay.
I don't expect you to guess. If you get this, I'll fall off my chair.
Oh man.
That's okay.
I can't get Dan Henderson out of my head, but I know it's not him.
Right. No, I don't believe it's him. I'll give you the answer. I don't think anyone would get it. Bob Sapp.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have I failed.
That's okay.
There's no way.
No one would have guessed that. No one would have guessed that, especially since Bob Sapp wasn't a wrestler at all. And
that's interesting though.
Yeah,
He's a giant.
yeah, he was amazing. I think Josh knew him from pro wrestling, and somehow Randy got connected in there, and they were really working on him. They helped him to almost win against a prime Minotauro Nogueira. He did amazing. Remember, that was that amazing fight where they had Bill Goldberg on the mic with Bas Rutten and I think Gamoro. And remember when Nogueira shot on Sapp, and Sapp was what, 390 pounds shredded, no USADA anywhere in sight, and he lifted Nogueira up and dropped him. He like almost pile drove him, and Bill Goldberg's going, "Good night, it's over, good night." And everyone was screaming in Japan, you know, and it was just insane. And then Nogueira like handled it, just rolled and ended up catching Sapp in a submission. And that was like after the first 10-minute round, you know. Speaking of which,
yes.
you were doing 10-minute rounds in the catch wrestling, weren't you?
They were 5-minute rounds.
Okay, they for some reason it seemed long, but that's perfect because that prepares you easily for the 5-minute rounds. And it didn't seem like you were gassing at all. So I have a feeling a 5-minute round is not going to be hard for you, even if you had to do 5 of them, which essentially you did, and I think 2 of those fights, huh?
Yes, I did.
I like that.
Yep.
A man.
I wrestled for a total of it was an hour and 32 minutes.
In the same night.
In the same night against 3 guys.
Man, that's crazy. Here's another trivia question from Pride. Which 2 guys fought almost that long against each other? And again, I hate to throw these things, but there's no way you can know. And so I'll give you the answer.
Hold on.
Okay.
Is Hoist Gracie one of them?
Yes, he was.
Hoist Gracie.
And as in Pride, there's a hint of who it may have been.
Sakuraba?
Yes, you got it. Awesome. This man is an absolute monster in the cage and in also MMA trivia, and you're a historian of our sport. That was awesome. I would think maybe
my man
5 out of 100 people would have got that. So yeah, that was incredible. And the result with that was the late Elio Gracie threw the towel in because their grappling was canceling each other out, but Sakuraba's striking was better than Hoist. And I think Hoist would have kept going, but it would have been probably just bad because that was, I think, set for no time limit. And it was like 10 or 15-minute rounds and no time limit. I don't know. And Hoist would have just probably ended up being beaten to a pulp. And it was probably hard for his dad to throw the towel in there. But man, that was incredible. That's probably the last match we'll see like that, where something is set for unlimited 10-minute rounds. And I think it went for 9 of those 10-minute rounds or something, if I'm not correct.
Those guys are killers, man.
Yeah,
warriors.
Yeah, they really are. But you are as well. Well, I'm really excited to see what happens next for you, Curran. I know that you may be a few months away. You deserve to enjoy for the holidays. But let me know the next time you have a fight set, and we'll have you back on to talk about it. And I'm super excited to see you do well. I think you're going to be a guy that absolutely proves that your skill set is unique and is going to be very hard to stop in our sport.
Thank you so much, brother. I will certainly keep you updated on everything that's going on. And, again, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. Always great to chat with you. You have a great night, Curran. We'll talk soon.
You too. See ya.
See you later. And that was Curran Jacobs, Dr. Adam Roorda. Really, really good guy. And, man, am I right that skill set is unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally unique, and it's one that I absolutely am a huge fan of. I think you're absolutely right. I think he's gonna just walk in here, and we've sent each other some texts after his last fight this last weekend, and I really think he's gonna dominate in the sport of MMA. 1,000%. I think he's going to sit here and I use that phrase 1,000% a lot, but not meaning to be hyperbolous at all. In this situation. I think he really is going to come in and completely dominate in a way that Askren couldn't. There was a lot of hype behind him. I think Curran Jacobs is the guy that people really should be getting behind. He's not known in the same ways or the same circles or on the same levels Askren was, but he will be.
I really think so. And I think Askren, did really well against some pretty darn good competition in Bellator and in Japan, and even really did darn well against Damian Maia. He stepped pretty much into the lion's mouth by grappling with Damian Maia, and I think that got caught by Masvidal, but did amazing against Lawler. But Curran Jacobs with catch wrestling, not only great submissions, but some unique submissions that catch wrestling has, is going to be amazing. And to have people like Randy Couture and Josh Barnett behind him, man, you can't beat that. I mean, two absolute legends there. So he is going to be a force, and such a nice guy, man. He's someone to really cheer for. Curran Jacobs up, and I'm really proud and happy to call him a friend. Anyway, we are ready as soon as you can for our very next guest. And while you're doing that, I'll ramble on about something. Let me see what I can do.
No, let's just go right into the Skype dance.
Good. We can spare you guys of that. All right, here we go.
Uh-oh, we'll find out.
Let's see.
Doesn't look like she's online.
Let me see if I can text her.
Well, in the meantime, you guys can actually blame our next guest. Don't blame her too much, because we're super excited to have her on. But you guys get to hear me talk about Combat Press. Go on over to combatpress.com, where every fight has a story. I've been using them for catching me up on news all the time. I don't catch every single fight, but when it comes to combat sports, you can pretty much find any piece of information you're looking for when it comes to relevant news and current events in combat sports. It's a lot of no fluff. They do have some of the fluff pieces that they squeeze in there just because everybody needs it, but not very often. They're a no fluff organization, and the kickboxing rankings are definitely the best out there. And also when it comes to MMA rankings, I do see, there she is. When it comes to MMA rankings, I say that they're probably the best right now too. Well, let's give Bea a call here, Colin, because it looks like she's here now.
Hey, Bea.
Hello?
Can you hear me,
Hey.
Bea? Awesome.
I can hear you.
Fantastic. And all we need to do, there you go. You hit the button perfect. And we have a video. Awesome. Let me give you the proper introduction before we throw your picture and your image on the screen here for the live connection. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to have the next guest on this show. I'm a fan of hers for a while now. She is a member of that awesome Fortis MMA team in Dallas, Texas, under the guidance of the incredible head coach Sayif Soud. She was a member of season 28 of The Ultimate Fighter. We are talking about none other than women's UFC bantamweight contender Bea Malecki. Welcome to the show, Bea.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's great to see you here, and it's so great to talk to you. You have such an amazing team there. I have to say, we've been privileged to have Sayif on the show, and I know we've had the wonderful Macy Chasson, and we've had Jeff Neal and Stephen Peterson and Kennedy Nishwuku. I always blow his name, but he always understands. And these are amazing people. You've been there for you've been there for only about 6 months before. Now, prior to that, you were training only in Sweden, or were you somewhere else?
I was training in Spokane a bit before that, but I went back to Sweden before the show, and I was training in Sweden until after the show, because Macy told me, like, or when we were in the show, Macy said, like, "Oh, Bea, I'm gonna move to this gym, and you have to see it, you have to try, you have to come train with me." And like, me and Macy, when we were training together, we could feel like we were really like, what do you call? We are getting better.
Yes.
What's the word in
really
English?
improving, like making each other better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and when we were sparring, it's like a real fight. So, I mean, it's a good thing
Yes.
that we can really like make each other better. So for my fight, my first fight in the UFC, I thought like I need a really good training. Like I need the best gym in the world. And I reached out to Macy and said, hey, can I come and train at your gym? And she's like, yeah, sure. And she's like, you can stay at my place. So I was staying in Macy's living room for 6 weeks and training for my fight. And I won. And I mean, I just really like the gym and the coaches. I mean, I have everything I need to become like the best I can right here. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely stay here and train.
That's awesome, and that's so important, and I'm really glad you found that place. And I know you knew Macy from season 28 of The Ultimate Fighter. Remind us, were you guys on the same team or a different team in that season?
No, we were in the same team.
That's right. And you didn't fight each other, though, I don't believe, or did you?
No, we did not.
Right.
I fought, what's her name? What's her name?
Leah or something? Yeah,
Leah. Yeah.
Now, you had some good training with Macy there, I'm sure, and is that how you kind of got to be friends? I imagine so, right?
Yes. Or first, we actually, we trained together, and then we start hitting each other really hard with those small gloves because both me and her are very competitive.
Yes.
That's what you say?
Yes.
So we get mad on each other, and we like, I was like, the girl is so blah blah blah, and she's the same. And after that, we were like, okay, well, we're on the same team, let's be friends. And since then, we've been like from that moment, we like were just hanging out together like all the time.
Like kind of like sisters almost in a way, right?
Yeah, kind of.
That's awesome. That is so cool. And not only that, but it's so nice that that you thought to reach out to her, and that I'm sure you were so happy that she said yes, come on. Because some people, you know, are concerned about someone competing with them, or they don't want to have, you know, like someone to maybe take their success. And so I think that it showed that Macy was very confident in herself, but also had a big heart, that she said to you, yes, come on by. I'm sure that made you very happy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Macy, she's like, she has the biggest heart ever. Like I'm telling you, whenever the people she has close, she really like does everything for them. So she's a really good person and one of my closest friends now. And I mean, how many people would say, yeah, come and sleep on my couch for 6 weeks?
That's like, right. I forgot about that part. Yeah. Because I'm in Los Angeles, and everyone, part of the reason they say people are not friendly to each other in Los Angeles is because they don't want their new friend asking them to sleep on their couch for 6 weeks. So yes. So really? For you to find the woman that said yes, come and do that, she truly is a great person, and I know you appreciate her. And yeah, that's great. And you two are very, very similar in stature. You're like maybe an American 1 inch taller than her, maybe, or like this?
Yes, I think so. We're still talking about that. We're like, who's really the tallest person? And we keep like looking, and we're like, oh, your hair is like that. No, it's because of that.
Right.
But I think I'm just a bit taller than her.
Yeah. But so close. It's almost like we can call you like twin towers because you're tall girls, like, right? And they call this is like they actually called them basketball players many years ago when I was a small child, the twin towers. They had the two guys like 7 feet tall and one college team. Yeah. So you girls like the twin towers of Fortis MMA, I would call it.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't thought about that.
That's right, yeah. So that's cool. So you're getting great training there. And so tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know that in The Ultimate Fighter, which was what, 2017 you were on, or 2018?
Good question.
It is, yeah, it's hard to know.
Was it 1 or 2 years ago? I don't remember.
It's hard to know. Somewhere.
1 year ago. It has to be 1 year ago.
I think you're right. And so you got into that because obviously you were doing some good fighting. I think maybe mostly in Sweden. I know that in the show, many people that watched know these things about you and are familiar with you. So forgive me for asking, but as you know, some people didn't watch or couldn't watch the show. Remind us, how did you get to be a fighter? What was your background athletically in Sweden, and then where was the beginning of your involvement in combat sports what motivated you to get into it, and then how did you get on the Ultimate Fighter?
Okay, I'm gonna try to answer all those
I
questions.
appreciate it. That's a lot.
We
I
can
know.
start like how I started. Like when I was 14, my brother did Thai boxing, and we had a Thai boxing gym not so far away from my house. And I talked to my mom and dad's like, oh, I really want to do Thai boxing. Can I do it? And mom's like, no, you're gonna break your nose. And my dad's like, that's not something for girls because like you shouldn't get punches in your head and
Right.
you're gonna look look like a man or something.
You don't want to get a pretty face smashed was your dad's idea, yes.
Yeah. So I didn't start doing it. I was there watching, but I did all of other kinds of sports. Like I did cheerleading, I did basketball, soccer, I tried football, I did everything for like 6 months. And as soon as my dad bought all the clothes for the team, I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
Oh, so no.
I was keep doing that for so long.
Right.
Until when I was like 18 or 19, I still live at home, and I asked my dad, like, hey, I'm going to start to Thai boxing. And I mean, they can't say anything because I'm 19. So he said, okay, if you do that, and if you keep training for more than a year, I'm going to pay you back for everything you, like all the clothes and everything you need. I was going to pay you back.
I love that.
So, yeah, he's like, I'm done buying all those clothes for you.
That's funny.
Kind of tired.
Yep.
But, yeah. And then I did it, and I never stopped. So I did it for 7 years. And I won Swedish championship 2 or 3 times. I don't remember. And I won European and World Championship too. And after that, I didn't know what to do more in Thai boxing. So I started to do MMA. And that's, I think, 3 years ago. And I started to BJJ. That's what I really like. Right. So I started to do that. After 2 weeks, I did my first tournament. And I won. So I just learned one choke with the gi. And I was just choking all the girls out with that one.
Nice.
So, yeah. And after that, I did more and more MMA. And then I had, how many fights? 2 or 3 fights in MMA. And then I got into the Tough House.
How did that happen? How did they get you from Sweden all the way over there in Europe? How did they find you for the Tough House?
I don't know, but I think they called. Like, they called my gym and asked if I want to go and do like tryouts.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I went to Vegas and I did the tryouts, and then I don't remember if I went back to Sweden to I went back to Sweden, waited, and then they called and say that I got a place there, like a spot. How do you say it?
You got a spot. You won your spot. You got accepted. You got in. Yeah.
Yes.
Were you surprised, or were you very confident? I'm sure you hoped that would happen, right?
Yeah. I really hoped I was gonna get in, and I did. I mean, I think you need to have like maybe more fights to get into the Tough House, but I had a lot of Thai boxing fights. I think I have like, I stopped counting, but maybe 30.
Wow.
So I had a lot of experience, so they probably took me in because of that.
That makes sense.
So
now looking back on your experience living in the house, how was it compared to what you were expecting? And if you had your life to go back a few years, would you do it again or would you not?
I would do it again. I'm really like laid back. I don't really like stress for much. And I had the time of my life there. Like I get whatever I wanted, whatever food I want, like living in a really nice house, sun, pool, training, nice people. So I can't really complain, but many people there were like, oh, I just want to go home. I want to get out of this place. I was like, well, I don't know. I could stay here.
I love that. You had a good time, and the good attitude is important. I think the Swedish people are known to have that good attitude. That's the funny thing that, right? And the funny thing, though, is in the past, you know, I think in history, Swedish people are known for being friendly, a good attitude. you know, having good health and good athletes, but never fighting before. So this is kind of a new thing. Now the Swedish people are known for great fighters, but I guess you all have that kind of that Viking spirit in your background, huh?
Yeah. Viking, but my mom and dad are from Poland, so I get the Polish blood.
Yes.
Crazy blood.
I love that. Well, they do have a great history. There are some amazing fighters from Poland and people from there, the Eastern Bloc, without a doubt. So when you finished living in the house and you came out and you saw how they presented it on television, because a lot of people don't know, they shoot so many more hours of footage and they only present a small part of it on the to make the series of The Ultimate Fighter. So, you know, there are so many more experiences that you had over there. How did you feel when you saw which pieces of film and video, which pieces of video that they took and which pieces they took speaking to you? Were you very happy? Were you somewhat so-so? Were you unhappy? What was your thought? And was it what you expected after living there to see the different small parts that they put on television?
I thought they're gonna, I don't really know how they were gonna present me, but they really like pushed me and for like, oh, I look so good. It's like, I don't know, they like made it sound like I'm like, I don't know. Like I didn't like that way they did it.
Right.
But because I'm like, that's not me. I'm really like, I don't like.
Humble person, right?
Yeah, really. And I think I came out a bit like I wouldn't say a bitch, but like
a little cocky maybe or something.
Yeah. And all the fun stuff we did, they like didn't put anything of that.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I was like, why didn't you guys show this or that or anything? I was like, at least give us some footage, like this is what you guys missed, or like make another clips, you know, of the fun part.
They should, yeah. I've heard that happens. Can you remember any of the fun or funny things that happened? Maybe you can tell us that we didn't get a chance to see.
Yeah, we had like a backyard fighting championship, and we were fighting each other in the backyard. We had like pool games. And we I don't know, we ordered like a huge teddy bear.
Nice.
And like we took out all the stuffing inside of it. And, like, I put it on, and then we like walked around and did stupid stuff in the house.
That's funny.
And I did Welcome to My Crib with the huge house, but they didn't put that either.
Oh, that would have been funny. It's like The Ultimate Fighter was your crib.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that would have been funny. That's awesome. I love to hear that. Did you, other than Macy, did you make friends of any of the other people in the house?
Yeah, the whole team, like our team, Team Gastelum, we became really good friends, all of us. So that's why I mean, like, I had a really good time because our team was like a small family. And we were just laughing and having fun together, training. So
I like that. Good experience. So you're living in Texas now, and is this difficult to be far away from Sweden, or are you pretty much used to it now and you have people that you feel are like your friends, like your family kind of here as well?
It's both. I mean, I'm here and I feel good here. I train. It's like I feel good, but of course I'm gonna miss my family too. So I was wishing to go home for Christmas, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna have time to do that because I'm gonna have to train.
Right.
But Mom said that we can make an extra Christmas when I come back, so I'm not gonna miss it.
That's awesome. Speaking about your moms, and now that your parents have seen that you've done it for more than 1 year, it sounds like they do support you. Is this equal between your mom and your dad, or a little bit different about how they feel? Equal.
No, they support it. They got used to it because first my first fights in Thai boxing, you have a headgear, you have chin protection, you have like huge gloves.
Right.
So it's more like a, do you call it Michelin guy with all this clothing on? I don't know. Do you call that? I don't know if we just say it in Sweden.
Gotcha. I it almost.
Anyway, you have like a lot of
a lot of gear, protective gear,
Yes.
like amateur type of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not so much blood.
Right.
And then they went to one or a few fights in the beginning. They're like, okay, it's not that bad. It's not like flying blood everywhere and stuff. And then I had bigger fights with only gloves.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no protection, and they saw that, and they got used to it. So now when I switched to MMA, the only difference is that it's a bit smaller gloves, and you can like break arms and how do you say, choke someone.
Right, submissions, joint locks, yeah, absolutely. It's the only difference. Were they there when you fought in Sweden, your last fight?
Yeah, yes, they were.
What?
My mom, dad, and brother.
Oh wow! Did this make you feel more pressure to win, or just it made you more happy?
No, it made me happy. I don't really think about stuff like that when I go into the cage.
That's cool.
Like, yeah, I have other stuff in my head.
I hear you. That makes sense. That must have been great, though. I'm sure they were nervous for you, probably during that fight. And that fight made you 3-0 in MMA, but that was your UFC debut, which I think was really important. And so even with your UFC debut, they say that many people have what's called an adrenaline dump, where you go in and you feel good for a few seconds, and then you see the lights and you see how many people are around, thousands of people, and you start feeling, oh no, this is, where am I, right? But did this happen at all for you, or no?
Not in this fight. I had it in my first fights in Thai boxing, but I don't really care about the crowd. It's not stuff I don't know.
Doesn't bother you. It doesn't worry you or make you stressed. That's good.
No, it doesn't.
So you're comfortable. Well, that's good. And I think all those Thai boxing fights probably helped you. So in that fight with Duda Santana, the Cowboy Zinha from Brazil, I think they had the odds even, or maybe even like her a little favorite or you a very small favorite, something. It was very close. And right, I remember feeling that I really felt you would win, but also the first fight is tough, and you're in your home country. Maybe it was going to be more pressure, but it seems like in that first round things were very close, maybe almost like you weren't feeling so great in that first round. And then the second round you came in like you were angry and you were ready to finish this. Tell me, what was going on? What happened in the first round? What was your feeling about what happened, and then what changed in the second round?
First round, I would say that it doesn't look like I have been done so much boxing in my life before.
Right.
I could have done it better. I mean, I was focusing so much on other stuff in my camp. I mean, we train everything, but I don't really know. Sometimes the first round, like in your UFC fights, maybe it's like harder.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think something happened, and I didn't get the feeling.
Right. You didn't feel great in that first round.
Yeah, I couldn't I couldn't find my rhythm, and it was just a bit off.
Yeah.
But in my head, still, I was like, I'm gonna win, so I'm just gonna keep fighting until I get like do something to win.
Right.
And then I think.
Did you get good coaching in between rounds? Did Sayif tell you some good things, or your coaches maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I think I was just throwing too. You say throw too much. I wasn't like feeling it, so it was hard. And he's like, stop trying to knock her out. Just like start feeling it and start to like do it faster, because I was just really slow. I was like, I don't know what I was doing the first round.
Right.
But the second round, he's like, get your mind straight and just do what we plan to do. And so she tried to take me down, and I could feel like she didn't have the balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I could get on top of her, and from there I was like, there's no chance she gonna get out of this alive.
I love it. And then you got the finish. The crowd cheering for you probably also made you very happy, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But I could hear, like, when I was like doing not so good, like when she took me down, I could hear people like, oh no. I was like, I wanted to tell them like, don't worry, I'm gonna get up. Like, don't worry about it.
I love it. I love it.
Just give me a minute. Oh no, not even a minute. 10 seconds.
Right.
And I'll be back up. Yeah.
That's cool. That's so cool that you felt the connection to the crowd and you didn't want them to be discouraged for you. That's really neat.
Yeah.
I remember in the interview you said you were happy because you're there and all these people are Swedish and everything. So I thought that was cool. I thought it's neat. You're so happy to be there, you know, and you're in front of your countrymen and countrywomen. That was awesome. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know you were kind enough to agree to jump into our pros pick segment. We've got a couple big fights we're going to get your opinion on, and this is brought to you by, as usual, Digi South, cross-trained MMA fighter, combat pressed Hannibal TV, and New You. And so the first fight I am going to ask your opinion on, Bea, is going to be coming up on December 7th, which is Aspen Ladd versus Yana Kunitskaya in Washington, D.C. A very interesting fight for those of you who watch my show. We've had Yana on the show before. A very, very nice girl. And she's now, I think, the girlfriend of the Brazilian fighter Thiago Santos Marreta. And so that's the power couple, I think, right now in
Yes.
the UFC. Amazing fighters, but very, very nice woman. And Aspen Ladd, a very talented fighter. I'm not familiar with having spoken to her personally, but very good. What thoughts do you have on this fight? And give us the Bea Malecki breakdown. What are some of the things we should look for when these two women face each other, and how do you think this fight may unfold?
So I think I sparred with Yana before, and she's really strong, and she's all-rounded, but that's Aspen, she's that too. Like, both of them are really all-rounded, I think. And like Aspen, her last wins, she's been taking people down and like beating them up on the ground.
Yep.
And I just don't think she's gonna be able to do that to Yana.
Yep.
Because, and all of the girls, they have like kind of given up when they got on the back, and like Yana doesn't seem like a girl that's gonna give up.
No.
So, and like I said, she's really strong, and I think if she just uses, like, Yana gonna win on the feet if she's just gonna use her striking and stay away from the takedowns or whatever. And but if Aspen can take Yana down and she can't get up, I mean, then she's gonna win. But I don't think that's gonna happen. So I really think Yana gonna stay on her feet and like stay away and just do damage. And I think it's gonna be the full rounds, but I think that Yana gonna win.
Gotcha. I agree with that. And Yana, again, is another tall woman like yourself. Aspen Ladd is actually short stature for this bantamweight division at 5'5", right? I've had another female UFC fighter tell me that she feels Aspen Ladd should not be a bantamweight. She should be a flyweight. But the strange thing is Aspen Ladd finds it very difficult to make bantamweight.
Yeah.
But then
she's huge.
Yeah, I guess she's a thick girl. Obviously she's not a tall girl, but she's a thick girl. But you know, her last fight against Germaine Duranami, it was terrible. I don't know if you saw, but not only did she have to have the curtain to make the weight without clothing on, but her face looked like she was in a severe pain. Like she's shaking, and this is really unfortunate and it, you know, not a healthy thing. So people are hoping that this is not going to happen with her again. I think, you know, she says she's keeping her weight lower, and you know, it's going to be better. So I hope she can be healthy. And even if she is, though, I agree. I think Yana is going to be able to stop the takedown, and then if Aspen can't take her down, I think Yana wins that fight. But it would be a good win for either one of them. Both are talented women for sure. And so next up, the big one coming up on December 14th. For those of you that don't know, MMA Power Hour will be there for Fight TV, cage side in the press section at UFC 245 with 3 title fights. The fight we're going to ask Bea about is the Women's UFC Bantamweight Championship, the double champ, as it were, Amanda the Lioness Nunes, defending her bantamweight title against the Dutch woman Germaine Duranami. How do you see that one matching up? They did fight several years ago, but it was quite early in both of their careers, so I don't think that's going to be very relevant. But perhaps you do. What's your thought about how that fight unfolds? What are some interesting things that you can tell the fans that we should look for?
I think that Jermaine, she's a super great striker.
Yes.
And Amanda, she's really good, but she has more power than technique, I think.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, when you think about the fight with Amanda and what's her name, Valentina Shevchenko.
Yes. 2 fights.
Amanda didn't like go and like try to kill her.
Right.
It was more technical. They almost didn't do much at all.
Right.
And maybe I think that because Jermaine is really technical, she maybe is gonna do kind of the same thing, but I think she's gonna try to do takedowns too, and finish Jermaine on the back.
Right. Even though
on the floor.
Right. Even though Jermaine is now training with AKA Khabib Nurmagomedov, Daniel Cormier. You know, so this is, I think, a great thing for her, and I think her takedown defense to stop the takedown is getting better. And I think, but so you feel that Amanda, knowing that Jermaine is the more decorated striker, with Jermaine being an 8-time Muay Thai world champion, that Amanda will try for the takedown?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she's gonna try to feel her out, and if she feels like, oh, I can do this, no problem, then she's just gonna strike with her. But I don't think so.
Right.
I really think she's gonna try to take her down.
Yeah.
And
that, or grind her against the fence, maybe, you know, right?
Yeah.
And then, because I think if they're just going back and forth in the middle of the cage, I think possibly Jermaine wins the title. What do you think?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that would be an interesting fight down the line. Obviously, both of them would be interesting, but if you were to fight Jermaine down the line, that would be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're on a great track. I think your next fight is not signed yet, but I would imagine that you're hoping perhaps after the first of the year, very soon, maybe?
Yes.
That would be great.
We are working on it.
That's great, and then you'll be able to have some holiday food. So in the last few minutes we have with you, first let me ask you, for the Christmas time, I guess in Sweden there would be no Thanksgiving because this is kind of an American tradition. There was no pilgrims who found Stockholm. Right?
No.
Yeah. So there's no Thanksgiving. So for that you'll enjoy the American Thanksgiving. Have you done that before, once or twice? To have a Thanksgiving in the United States?
I think I've done it once, but it was just like a small thing. But
is it going to be bigger this time? Do you have somewhere to get the great traditional American Thanksgiving, or again maybe not?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. I think this one is going to be really big. So.
That's awesome. Well, I think you'll love it. It's really great food, and it'll also give you that great sense of an American tradition when you have this food, you know, because this is really big. We love Thanksgiving. And then for Christmas, is there anything done differently in Christmas for celebrating in Sweden or with food that we might not know about here in the United States?
Like Sweden is very weird. We eat, I don't do, because we in my family we do it the Polish way, but Swedish people eat the same on Christmas, Easter, and it's called midsummer. I don't know if you guys, the day when the night is the same long, I mean there's no night, the sun is like,
interesting.
That's the middle of the summer, and we just eat the same stuff for that. And then they eat like potatoes, like small fishes. I don't know what this is called in English.
I had a feeling you were going to say fish. I don't know what kind the Swedish is, but I know they like the fish.
Yeah. What are they eating more? I don't even know. I don't do that. We, like, in my family, we eat more like, oh gosh, it's really hard to explain in English, but it's a bit different. And I don't know how to explain it.
I heard about one dish in Sweden and the Scandinavian countries which many people don't like: lutefisk.
Lutefisk.
Yeah, I heard this is something that only the old men will eat. or something like that. I heard it's
Pretty much.
difficult. This is like not very tasty. Is that true?
I think I only tried it once in my life. It's really salt and it smells really, really, really bad.
Oh.
Like it's, yeah, you can't, like the whole house is smelling like bad fish when you eat it. Yeah, so I don't really get that thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say people are not serving that every day in Sweden now. Huh?
Yeah. And another thing we have is caviar, Swedish caviar. I don't know if you heard about that.
I think so. It's very good. Is that similar to the American caviar, or it's a little different?
No, it's like not even close. So people who go there, they like when they try it, they like, ooh, I don't like it.
It's very strong, but it is fish eggs of some sort,
yes.
right?
But it's like made with something else inside, so you just put it up from a tube.
Interesting. Yeah.
On your sandwich or whatever.
Very
you want
interesting.
To have it
Very interesting. Have you seen in the candy section of the stores the candy Swedish fish? But it's candy. Have you seen that? It's like a chewy gummy candy. Yeah, maybe they don't have it in Texas, but in stores there's a product you can look on the internet that it's a candy, but it's called Swedish fish.
Okay,
and
I don't.
You gotta look, and I think it's like a shape like a fish, but it's a chewy like fruit candy. So you gotta, you gotta look for that Swedish fish. Maybe order some. You know.
Okay.
Anyway, Bea, we only have a couple minutes left with you. Was there anything that you forgot about, or was anything you would like to say to thank people that have helped you, or thank your sponsors, or anything you want? Feel free to go ahead and shout that out.
Well, I can say thanks to Macy who took me here in the first place, and my whole Fortis team. Like they do so much for me. Like I'm telling you, if I would call anyone in the gym and say, "Hey, can you come in and train with me?" Like 11 o'clock in the evening, they would be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
That's great.
Like they're like we do everything for each other, and that's why we like doing this. Like just building each other up, and everybody's there. And coach and we have also a strength and conditioning coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's making us monsters. Like people don't even know what we're going through.
I bet.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every morning we're like half dead, half alive after those sessions. And I don't know. I have more to thank. Pretty much it.
Just it's amazing training there, and your team is so successful. I've got to say, Fortis is really jumping up there now with the very best teams in MMA, and I'm really happy to see it because you guys have a great attitude. And I'm really happy you took the time to join us here on the MMA Power Hour, Bea, and let us know when you have your next fight signed if you want to come on before or after it. Again, we'd love to talk to you and help support you, and I know that all our fans and our team here at the MMA Power Hour is going to be cheering for you.
Thank you. And can I say one thing more?
Yes, absolutely.
I just got a new food sponsor, Palate Pro. They are really good, so
awesome.
Check it out.
I want to make sure people can hear that clearly. Can you repeat that name?
It's, I don't know how you spell Palate Pro.
Palata, like P-A, yeah. So the P, like
P-A-L, oh my, I don't know the letters in English. Palate.
No problem. Pro. Palate Pro, okay.
Yes.
Look for that. People search for that.
No, they heard it a lot.
Yeah, because that sounds like a great product, and if they're sponsoring you, then they're sponsoring a winner. Thanks so much again, Bea Malecki. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. You're awesome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Bea Malecki. What a super nice woman. These Swedish people are just nice folks, aren't they, Adam?
Too nice.
I know. She is just as sweet as can be.
Makes me think of the Canadians I know.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
We'll probably have Daniel Alexander tuning in. He's
Absolutely.
like, what? I'm not nice.
I know. No, Daniel's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's one of the nicest people I've ever talked to.
Absolutely. I mean, not that Americans aren't nice, but, you know, it's a mixed bag, I think, over here, whereas it just seems like some of these places like Canada and Sweden,
Americans are not known for being nice.
No, we're not. Well, the Midwest Americans are.
They're not known for being nice either. They're known for being passive-aggressive. We're American. We're United States
I've
Americans.
heard of, like, the Iowa and Minnesota nice, but I still say us Michiganders, like Curran, Jacobs, and myself, we have the reputation as being the true nice. Yeah,
but it's still kind of an East Coast thing over there in Michigan.
Yeah,
so
to an extent.
It depends on which part of Michigan you're in.
That's true. We're the best blend of Midwest and East, I like to say. I had when I went with Corey to cover UFC Boston, we talked briefly to his wife on the phone, and he said, I'm from Michigan too. and Lower Michigan because they're from Upper. And she said, "But does Lower Michigan count as Michigan?" And I was like, yeah. Upper Peninsula, you're great, but Lower Michigan rocks. What do I gotta say? Anyway, Corey, that's for you. You and your wife rock. Corey Greneveld, awesome journalist, and his wife. Anyway,
we got a couple minutes here before I'm going to be ready, but we will be.
Well, you want me to rant? Not rant, but ramble and
keep going. And
yes,
you know what?
Yes.
Thank you everybody for tuning in this week and every other week. Make sure to give us a like, comment, and share when you get on over to Facebook. If you want to, you can go right down here at the bottom of the screen and share directly from here, or you can go on over to our Facebook page and you can share from our page, which does help us out tremendously. Either way helps. I want to thank you in advance for doing that, and seriously, you guys are the best.
You guys are. But like some other host I saw say when it comes to this, come on, fam, please share. We could really use your help, right?
Well, that's... Come on, fam. Come on,
fam. Start sharing.
That was a host for something totally different. Yes, I remember you had to share that with me. Come on, fam. If you're not sharing this, what's wrong with you?
Here's the message, fam. Like, share, like.
Comment. Anyway. And we'll if you do that, I will get some message spam going on over to you, which does get you followers. We'll do some comment spams and get you going there on social media. Just do a nice little trade.
Absolutely. Speaking of spam.
Come on, fam.
Come on, fam. Spam. I mean, not spam, fam. Anyway, listen, spam, that delicious food, boy, never mind. They love that in Hawaii, though, and Hawaiians are awesome, so it's got to be good if they like it in Hawaii. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get our next guest. Dr. Adam Roorda is working feverishly at the controls here.
Multitasking.
While he's doing that,
we got 2 minutes yet.
We do. So I will say that. So last fight, Jacare against Jan Blachowicz. People felt that fight was a snoozer or a stinker. It was tactical. There was a lot on the line for both of those guys, and it was frustrating kind of to see. I felt Jacare did win it. He's gone out in public forum now to say he felt he clearly won 3 rounds. I felt Jacare did win 3 rounds, but it was really close.
It was really close, and it was too close to call, really. It was just, I went back and watched that a few times to try and figure it out, and, I mean, it was... I don't want to say a snooze fest, because I don't see it that way when it's tactical like that, but... It's not the high performance you expect out of a main event.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I think, Adam? I feel that with Jacare being the older fighter and being his first time in a new weight class, I feel that the onus was kind of on Blachowicz to really go for it, and he didn't. And I think he didn't want to be taken down. He realized Jacare does hit hard. He just, he didn't, I don't know, whatever it is. He's a great fighter.
So our guest is actually calling in, Colin, so we're going to jump on in.
Let's do it. Hey, Gokar, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me, Gokar?
I'm hearing you, but I don't see you.
No problem. You wouldn't be able to see us, but you'll be able to see a green screen. You'll be able to see that you're going to be in a square, though. But if you can hit this button that looks like an old movie camera with a line across it, if you can do that.
Movie camera. Let me see. Which button is that?
It should be one. It's the only thing that looks like a camera with a line going across it. And that line means that there's no video, but once you push that, then all of a sudden we can see you.
Okay, lion. I'm trying to see which one is the lion.
Yeah, not a lion, but a line. Just a line going through a camera. And, it should be...
I see the camera there, but I don't see any line.
Okay, if you see the camera, see if you can press that. That might do it, my friend.
Okay, 1 second.
No problem. We have all the time. No stress at all.
Let me see if there's here. No, that's your company logo on the top.
Let me ask my producer. Is that Adam said yes. So it should be yes. It should be up there. It shows like a telephone, and then it'll show 2 squares, but then it'll show like a camera also. And you just want to press that. It's the video button, but I know it can be hard to find, believe me, and I know you don't do Skype a lot, so I'm really grateful.
Let me see. No, it's not the problem, my friend. I'm trying to hear. I don't know what is this one. I click it and I don't know what happened. everything I click, it's
Okay, I just got a good tip, Gokar. If you, it should be the symbol that's right next to the phone symbol. There's like a red phone symbol or a symbol that looks like an old telephone, and it should be one of the symbols right next to it.
okay. Let me see if I can find a.
No problem. Because you know what I'm thinking also, Adam, if we have him call us again, won't it activate immediately, or should it have done that this time?
You want me to turn off and call you back?
Yeah, let's try that, Gokar, if you don't mind.
Okay, I don't mind, buddy.
Excellent. I appreciate it, brother. We'll hang up and we'll wait to hear from you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are really excited to have this next guest on. He is an absolute legend and really master of masters in the world of combat sports. So, and all right, Gokar, can you hear me?
I hear you, but I don't see you. Like I say, you see me?
No, we don't see you yet. Once you can, if you can find that button, we will see you. But then you wouldn't be able to see us, but you'll be able to see that you're in the square.
Yeah. Let me see. I tell you what button I see here.
Okay.
On the top right side, I see your company logo.
Okay.
Under the left side, I see your company name.
Okay.
The time's going?
Is it going to be below? I'm going to ask my producer, Gokar. Go to the lower part of the screen. I think it's much lower.
Lower part and the bottom left, I see square like a telephone, not telephone, like a TV.
That's it. That's it.
No.
No, that's not it. No, my producer says not it. Okay, you see the square like a TV, and then what else?
Okay, let me see. Now I click that, and I got all kind of crazy stuff here. Okay, one thing. Okay, and then after that, I see and exactly in the middle, I see that's a speaker, and then I see mood. I see the end call. I see the video.
Video.
Yeah,
it should be the video. Yeah.
But it shows no video here now. Now the video it has a line in the video. It says it's off.
Okay, if you can hit that, if you can touch that, it will go on, I think.
Yeah, either way you don't see me. Okay, in the right bottom there is another square. It's like a mountain. It says open call gallery.
Okay, so I think my producer is telling me that he thinks maybe there's no camera option on his Skype. Is that possible, Adam?
Oh, I have a camera. Let me see. What is the setting of the camera? Let me see if I can find the setting.
Okay, I think
history from the Skype. Okay, no. Let me see view. Let me see talk to full screen, actual size. Okay, no.
All right.
Okay, let me see the preference. 1 second. Let me see. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's need to open up. Show chat notification. Do not disturb.
No problem, my friend. I appreciate it.
No problem, buddy.
I appreciate it.
I'm trying to see if I can find something.
I totally understand.
Contacts, share location with link. Okay, not this. Diagnose tools, manage blocked users, manage how people find your Skype, sport, chat history.
Okay.
All right. So
hard to see. Adam, let me ask my producer.
Let me go to the one other things. Let me try one other things.
Okay.
I'm going to the setup in the computer because I just opened the Skype. So
I just had an idea, Gokar. Maybe if we call you, it will give you a different choice. No?
Okay, you can do that. Let me turn off and you call me. And
okay.
We'll see it. But at the same time, I think I'm gonna go set up.
We'll try that. We'll try that and see what happens.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you, there's not gonna be any difference here, Colin. I'm sitting here getting a little.
Yeah. Maybe it'll bring us
with right now. Okay, so
maybe it'll bring us some luck if we try.
I'm just gonna talk to him real quick, and I'm gonna walk him through it.
Okay. That's fine.
Hang on with us here, boys and girls.
Please hang on, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a great interview in store with this great man.
Are you there?
Oh, yep, we're here, Gokar. Okay, my producer will talk to you directly.
Are you on your computer doing this?
Yes, it's a Mac computer.
Okay, so on the top left side, there should be 3 lines that you can click right by your name.
Okay, top left side. Okay, left side top, I have, let me see. 1 second. Yeah, I see that three lines there. Yes.
So click on that, and then you'll have 3 dots next to that.
Yeah, I got 3 dots. That's what I'm clicking.
Yep, and then it says settings.
Okay, the settings, actually, it's not there. I don't see settings. The application settings, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Video setting, 1 second, 1 second. Yeah, audio, video setting. Okay, I got that. Let me see if microphone is on. Camera, I don't see a camera here. That's interesting. HDMI built-in here. Speaker, that's okay. Do you hear me? Yes, now?
Yep, we definitely hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Adam, what should he be looking for here?
If it's not showing any camera, we're just going to put a picture up of you, Gokor. We'll pull one off the internet here, and we can throw one up.
Camera is working now. I can see myself.
Oh, okay. So then maybe in about 2 or 3 seconds, we'll see it. It has a delay. So if you can see yourself, we probably should see you here in only a matter of 1 or 2 more seconds.
There we go.
Yay, we got you. We got you, Gokar. Excellent.
Okay,
we got it. Thank you, brother. And so we want to make sure you're in the square. Fabulous. Okay, I'm going to give you the proper...
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to sit in my table.
Perfect. I appreciate it. I'm going to give you a proper introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really excited and honored to have this next guest on. There are many people that are experienced and that are champions. There are many people that are great teachers. And then there are some of the people that are absolute legends in our sport. And this is one of them here. This man was a junior champion in all grappling arts, in judo, in sambo, in wrestling. As an adult, everywhere he went, he won gold. He's the top student of Gene LeBell and one of the foremost grappling masters in the entire world. We are talking about none other than Mr. Gokar Chivichian. Welcome to the show, Gokar.
Thank you, my friend.
My pleasure. It's great to have you. It's great to have you here, man. There's so much to talk about. You have been in combat sports, I think, for about 4 decades. Am I right?
It's almost 51 years.
That's amazing, man. You started, and it says that you were born in Yerevan, Armenia, and then you were training as a child and competing in Soviet Armenia. That must have been a time where there were so many good competitors. How do you feel like you were able to be so successful? Did you have family history that were grapplers or fighters?
My grandfather's brother was the catch world champion many years ago. But that possibly maybe me, I just born like that. I don't know.
Right.
But I was a very strong kid before I go to train.
Right. That helps. And you were a good athlete then. So when you were competing in these things as a child, did you feel like this was going to be something you would do as an adult, as you did in your 20s and 30s, and even competing in grappling competitions in your 40s and 50s? Or when you were a child, did you feel it was just fun for you to do?
I don't know anything will be my future at that time, but the one things I know, when I went to sign up first wrestling class, that was 1990, that was 1968. I was only 5 years old.
Wow.
And then there's 40 kids that's trying to sign up. They want to take only 5 of them. The rest of 35 go home. And the teacher was testing everybody and put his legs down. He said, anybody pick up my legs, we're going to register him. And if you cannot pick up, then you're going home.
Oh, wow.
I try. Finally, my turn comes up, and I pick up his legs, but I pick up differently. Not only pick up his legs, also I take him down. So he was very impressed. I said, well, this kid has talent. I can see it from now. So this is age 5 I started, So that's my beginning days. Are you there? We lost each other. You wanna call back? What happened? Hello.
Second, Gokar, can you hear me? Gokar.
Yes.
Okay, good. We had some sort of a quick battery outage there where the battery went out, but I think our backup just kicked in. I was trying to call the producer. He wasn't there. Anyway, let's continue. Sorry for that interruption, my friend.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay, buddy.
All right,
Okay.
so I heard that at least in Soviet Russia, the government would help a lot of young athletes that were amateurs, and so it was unlike this country where when you're a child and you're competing, it's only your family that helps you. But I heard in Russia, at least, the government would also help to support the young athletes. Was that the case in Armenia also, where the government would embrace you, or it's only your parents?
My time, Russian or Armenians are completely the same. It was called Soviet Union.
Right.
And you have to be the #1 guy in your country, so then the government take care of all the bills and all the trips and everything. And I always was #1. So basically, my parents never pay any money for me. Like they don't spend anything. Always the government take me everywhere.
That's awesome. Well, that must have been good. So then it wasn't a burden on your parents. And so should I assume your parents were very happy for you to continue in grappling, both your mother and your father, or were they not so happy?
Oh, they first of all, what happened is when I was outside and just fighting with the kids and stuff like that, some older guys, they bring an older kid to fight me and stuff. They enjoyed it. And then I was beating them up. They older than me, 4 or 5 years, 10 years old kid fighting the 5 years old kid.
Wow.
Then one guy see me, he likes me, and he said he's going to take me to training. So that's what happens when they register and everything done. This guy is basically taking me all the time. When I was 7, the guy quit going. And I scared to tell my parents the guy's not there anymore.
Oh no!
If my parents knows the guy's not going, basically I'm not going either. So I was going by myself, and I was 7 years old. It takes me half an hour to change into transportation.
Wow!
To go training, and looking today, 7 years old, they scared to let him go bathroom by himself.
Right.
But I was going half an hour traveling approximately 15, 20 miles distance.
Wow.
And many years I go by myself. My parents didn't know because they was working.
Oh, wow.
And they also think this guy's taking me and this way, that way. So this much I was into the sport. And also when the winter comes up, and in Armenia it's very, very cold, you know.
Sure.
So if I put in my hot coat, my parents will think, hey, you're going with the car, so why you put in your coat? So I was putting a very light jacket. I was freezing on the bus stop, you know, and everybody thinking I don't have a coat.
Oh, no.
And I was freezing until the bus come or the, you know, whatever the transportation I'm going to use. So I tell this to my students how much I was into it, this sport.
Yes.
So I was going to training, and I train at 2 or 3 training each days, and I do my homeworks there and everything like that. And I was finishing at 9:30 in p.m. nights.
Wow.
7 years old kid to change transportation, come home.
Man, that.
So that was my things when I started training.
That's amazing. That is a dedication and commitment that you almost never find nowadays. And I think for anyone watching, this is an example of why someone gets to be a champion and how someone gets to be a champion and win and continue winning and to be so successful. That kind of dedication as
Yeah, your voice is gone. I tell you that again, something happened. You want me to wait until your voice comes back?
Okay, I think we got it back. I think we got it back. I don't know if I'm touching anything. Sorry about that, Gokar.
It's okay, buddy. Don't worry about it. Again, I wait for you to come back.
All right, Gokar, can you hear me? I'm
Yes.
back. Excellent. Thank you so much. We just got a replacement battery, and we're going to be much better now. So what I was saying is that kind of dedication that you had at 7 years old, many people don't have at 15 years old or 20 or 25 years old, and that really, explains how you've been so successful. Because everywhere you went, you won. Where you competed in Sambo, you competed in judo and wrestling, and then I saw on your Wikipedia page that at 17 years old you came to Los Angeles. Was this on your own or with your parents?
No, I come to America a year before and competed World Cup in judo in Colorado Spring, and took a first place in my weight division. And then I give a seminar to America I give them a little seminar and the American national team. And then they give me a certification and here and there. So when I go back and I tell my parents, I say, I don't see a future here in Armenia. I just, maybe if I'm in America, maybe I see a little future there. And my family was ready to do whatever it's good for me, and most of my cousins was already here living in Los Angeles.
Interesting.
So
Yep.
when we tried to come and we went to the interview, and when I told them I was in America, I took the first place in the World Cup and also give a seminar in the national team, and they give me certification. They're very excited, and they kind of they said they're going to help me to go fast as possible. It takes 3 months for me to put my family all together to come to America.
Nice.
I was very lucky on that.
That's awesome. And that was 1980, the year, I think, right?
Yes, 1980.
That's amazing. And this is 13 years before the Ultimate Fighting Championship. But we know that you knew your catch wrestling, and Gene LeBell had been doing catch wrestling already at that time for probably 25 years. And so how did you connect with
Gene here when I was here?
Yeah, how did you meet Gene and become his top student and good friend and partner?
What happened is when I come to America, first of all, I went to the Colorado Spring and I kind of like working over there, helping, teaching and stuff like that. But 6 months I stayed there and I get a little bored. And because there's nothing else to do over there.
That was like Olympic Training Center or something there, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, there was an Olympic Training Center. So then I come back to Los Angeles, and my parents are already kind of rent a house and stuff like that. I have 2 brothers there who find a job working, and I want to find a job myself to work, but also same time I want to train. I was a young boy, 17. Then I hear it in Los Angeles City College there is a place to train. So I went over there and I see there's a people training. I went to there, but it was no Gene LeBell. It was in the morning. But they're training judo, and I didn't speak English that time, and I couldn't explain myself what I want to do and everything. But the teacher recognized me because I won too many championships in my junior time. He recognized me, and then he invited me to train. And the next day I got my gi and I started training and stuff here. Then he told me, I belong to the national team, which at that time national team was East Los Angeles, Tenry Dojo. Mm-hmm. So all the national champion was there. So then I moved it there, started doing judo. But and then later they said there's a night class on the same place. That's what the first time when I come, I meet Gene. And then Gene told me, do you fight without the gi? I told him, I said, I did Sambo. I was the world champion Sambo and world judo. And then I also was the national champion wrestling. So, and then he told me, well, can you fight without the gi? I said, of course, I can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. So he lined up a lot of people. He has the Olympians and the black belts with the gi. So I beat like 30 guys over there, and I was only 17.
Wow.
I was beating all the adults.
Amazing.
And then after that, there's a guy, he's the world champion wrestler from Russia. And he said, can you fight him? I was only 60 kilograms, and that guy was 110 kilograms.
Wow, that's crazy. Double your size.
Big difference. So I fight him, I beat him, and then he didn't believe it. Small kids like this, they can beat him, and he asked me one more time, and the second time I beat him even faster.
Nice.
And then he gave up asking me, so everybody impressed, and Gene impressed. So since then, me and Gene, we come very good, close to each other. Then I was looking to make money, and Gene told me there is a places they do fights. He helped me. We walked together different places, find a competition like they're doing underground and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So first time I make $50. I beat somebody in less than 20 seconds.
Wow.
At that time, nobody knows what the grappling was, and the most guys, the karate, kickboxing, stuff like that.
Right.
I was grabbing people and taking them down right away and finish them. And Gene was calling me, grabbing. So the grappling basically word, the grappling today is a very popular. It comes from me and Gene, and it comes from us before even jiu-jitsu was popular anywhere in the world. You know?
Yep, absolutely. You guys together had the catch wrestling that Gene had training with Karl Gotch, and you training in Armenia, and both of you were amazing. It was like you were the same amazing, skillful guy, just Gene, I think, was like 30 years older than you, but it was a perfect connection and friendship for the two of you. We have, Gokor, maybe like 10 minutes left to go, and there's so many questions I have to ask you, so let me ask. We can go longer? Okay, we can go about 15 minutes more. Okay, I'm glad. Thank you. I asked my producer. I'm glad. Okay, so what year did you guys open up Hayastan? Because I want to let everyone know Hayastan, Judo, Sambo, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of the most respected schools in Southern California. Ronda Rousey started there, Garo Parisian, so many people with Gene LeBell and with Gokar Chivichian, so many of the top fighters in the late 1990s, 2000s, and even now. Anytime they were in Los Angeles, will go to Hayastan. They say the reputation I think you have is that if you want to go somewhere and you have a bad attitude in the grappling, you can get a quick attitude adjustment in Hayastan, and you leave out the door and can lay in the hospital for 2 weeks.
It's a little bit, people say too much about that, but I tell you, this is the real things. In the dojo, I opened up first time in 1986.
Oh, wow.
When I opened 1986, but I was competing at the same time.
Right.
So it's very difficult for me to teach and go compete. So then 2 years of that, I closed it down because I want to continue competing. I was an Olympian, and I was this and that. There is lots of things about the judo, about the sambo, about the grappling, about the MMA. All the 80s was the best time, so I can compete and bring a lot of gold and stuff like that.
You were going all over Europe. You were traveling in Europe and Russia a lot in the 80s, even though you were living here.
I go compete at sambo, I compete at judo, compete no holds barred. That time there's no MMA. Whatever, I went to Japan, I do shuto, so everywhere. Whatever I can make money at the professionally, and also the local here and the underground and everything, so whatever. It's like a movie, you know.
Right.
And but the main things is 1991 I opened officially the Hayastan MMA Academy, and I was teaching. So between the teaching, there is a lot of things I can tell you about it, but I just want to make shorter. 17 years we was #1 in the whole United States in judo.
Nice.
And then when jiu-jitsu comes up, and we offer the jiu-jitsu guys to compete, and then we got a lot of jiu-jitsu guys come and start competing in a judo tournament, and they was not doing very well. They're losing it. And then I go and I start competing jiu-jitsu tournaments. That time, there's not too many rules like today.
Right.
There was not organized well like today, and everything was a little different that times. I meet a lot of Gracies, I meet a lot of Machado guys, I get lots of friendship I have, make it, and start training, mix up together, share the technique together, very good friendship and everything. And he helped me to develop a little bit what I know and what I can learn more, and I teach them a little bit what I know, and just we exchange it all day long.
Absolutely, and that was in 1993. Sorry if I interrupted you, Go-Kart, but I wanted to have
It's before 1993 when the US comes up.
For sure. No, I know you did all that in the 80s, but what I was meaning is that by the time the first UFC came out, 1993, you were 30 years old and you had already been competing for 25 years. So
yes,
right.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I was the one of the first guy in all this United States, or maybe all of the world, except like some country like in Brazil that people fight before.
Right.
But I was the first guy, basically brought everything to America. Leg locks, grappling, all the no-holds bar, everything, whatever was going on, I was in there. And nobody, today I don't see any of those guys around.
Right.
But the people come after me approximately 7-8 years later.
Right, absolutely. You had been doing it in the 80s. And so by the time 1993 came around, you were mostly retired since you had been competing.
No, actually, I want to compete at UFC, but they tell me the hoist have to make a name out of it, and they didn't register me.
Right.
And they said they wait for another 3-4 years, then you can go after the hoist is done. And I have a lot of respect because we're good friends and everything. When before the hoist retired UFC, but 90% of the UFC fighters, they come and train with me, and when I was in Hollywood.
Right.
So I was teaching 90% guys, and if I enter the UFC, basically, I'm going to fight the people I'm teaching.
Yes,
So that's the reason didn't happen. And if you remember Art Davis, and they specialized to come to my dojo, beg me, and ask me if come to fight in UFC. I say I will do it, but you have to find someone not training with me. You know?
Right. It was hard.
How's that possible? He said there's no possible because
everyone's training with you.
Everybody training with you.
Yeah.
So, I was teaching all the strikers. They come to me to learn grappling. Then the time when the grapplers get a problem, then they go start learning striking. So that's the time when it was developing the MMA. Not like today. Today is like a special sport MMA. People already doing MMA as a special sport.
Yeah.
But the time when I was doing, you remember karate goes against judo against jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu against the boxing.
Right.
It was like that's the way it started.
Yeah, style versus style it used to be back then.
It was good for me because I was making good money at that time and teaching all these people, and I make more money than they go fight and make it over there.
That's true. And I remember you were in many people's corner. I remember seeing you walking down the aisle. Mostly I remember your friend Oleg Taktarov. You were with him. Who else were you in the corner of? Do you remember?
I cornered the Ken Shamrock. I cornered Frank Shamrock. I cornered Oleg Taktarov. Beside those guys just alone from my studio, just alone, I give 23 fighters to UFC. And also I help Frank Shamrock. Many years, he trained in my academy. I give him classes. I give him private lesson.
Yes.
All kind of. I help a lot of people. They're good people.
Yeah.
And I help as much as possible. But from my studio, I give 23 fighters to UFC.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I don't see if any other school give more than 2.
No, it's true. That's like 90% of the fighters were coming out of the highest on academy.
Yes. And today too, my team is competing in Brazilian judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo, grappling, everything.
Absolutely.
So simple. We prepare people to compete anything they want to compete. My students are very knowledgeable of everything, gi, no gi. They learn all the rules of judo, sambo, jiu-jitsu. Just 2 weeks ago, we went to the World Championship in Jiu-Jitsu, and we brought 24 gold.
Wow.
Not the gold. 24 medals.
That's great. That's amazing still.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, your school is amazing. And earlier, I didn't want to imply that you go to Hayastan and you get beat up. I meant if you have a bad attitude and you think you're going to go there, then you quickly learn the good attitude. But you get great training. That's the one thing, is that they have so many good guys, serious guys, highly skilled guys.
Yeah, I got a lot of good guys, but I tell you something, a lot of people come to my dojo, they're kind of a little nervous because of the reputation.
Right.
They're going to beat them up, and there's nothing like that. It's actually, when they come, they tell me, hey, Gokor, this is what the people tell you, you go Gokor's place and they get beat up. No, actually completely opposite.
Right.
They come here, they train, and they can't believe it how respectful my students are. And even my toughest students are there. They act like a beginners. They don't hurt the people. And people, only time when we get a little bit more aggressive, the people have the attitude.
Yes.
Come and they're trying to show them how tough they are. They want to beat someone. And they challenge someone, then we give them attitude adjustment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I meant, ladies and gentlemen who are watching. I didn't want to perpetrate that reputation because, like you said, for some reason, people are trying to think that they weren't respectful. Always respectful. If you go to the gym, you're a regular guy, you're a nice guy, you're a respectful guy, you can have a great workout. No one hurts you. No one treats you bad ever. But like they said, the people that would go there to try to hurt the students or to try to show how tough they are and to disrespect, there are many talented, skillful guys that can stop those guys from doing that, is what that is.
I got a lot of schools. I got 110 affiliation schools all over the world.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
People are coming from everywhere in Europe and every world, and they come and train here all the time. They like, when they come here, they feel like they're home.
Yep.
And, that's the way we treat them, everybody. And then also, I give lots of seminars, every week, like at least 2 seminars. I travel all over the United States, travel to Europe. I do European tour all the time. And people like to train with me because I can teach them a gi, I can teach them no gi, I can give them a lot of judo moves, the Sambo moves, a lot of leg locks. But, people think Hayastan MMA are good in leg locks. Yes, we are good in leg locks, but we are good at everything else too.
Yep.
The reason why we use a lot of leg locks because other people don't know nothing about it.
Right.
So we always look in other people's weakness.
Yes.
But now it looks like if you see all the professional fights, grappling fights, everything, it's ending 95% leg locks, which is I was telling 35 years ago they didn't want to do it. And today, everybody loves it.
Absolutely, you're right. They have the guy in New Jersey, the John Danaher, the Henzo Gracie student, who has a lot of attention from a lot of guys. But in reality, for you guys watching, Gokor is the more senior master than John Danaher. Not to put down John Danaher, and I'm sure Gokor wouldn't say that, but if you want to see at least equal with more years of experience in leg locks and everything else, Gokor Chivichian is the man. This is really a place to go. There's amazing guys there. I think you have 2 of your sons now training in at Hayastan in North Hollywood. Am I right?
Yeah, my older son, Arthur Chivichian, it's actually one of the coach over here. He's also teaching USC University. He's a professor over there.
Excellent.
Yeah, and my younger one actually trained up to blue belt. Now he's a basketball player. Next year he's coming professional.
That's
so he likes the basketball more than the fighting. So there's nothing I can do. I teach him how to fight, to self-defense.
Yep.
But now he's one of the best player right now, and hopefully he will do good on his future.
I'm sure he will with the athletic background that you have, and you're still winning. You just recently competed in the over 50 or 56 years old, and you won the gold medal recently. So you're still doing it. It's amazing, man.
The reason I did because I win a judo world, I win a Sambo world, I win a MMA world, I win a grappling world. I never compete at jiu-jitsu world, and I want to have that titles also on my resume. So, and then I did. This year I get 4 gold medal of jiu-jitsu and 1 Pan America. I didn't give no point to anybody. I win everybody. I win all the best fighters there up to that 50 and up. And 9-time world champion, 8-time world champion. I have no problem with them. I play with them without any problem. And I kind of follow their rules, and I was trying not to do anything fancy because if I do something fancy and maybe they EQ me, I mean they can kick me out.
Right, disqualify you, yeah. If they, yeah.
So I tried to be nice and follow the rules and follow it. I basically losing 50% of my what I know, my techniques I cannot use there.
Right.
But I follow their own rules, and I come a world champion on their own game.
Absolutely.
So now I'm the only guy in all the world.
Right.
I have a 5 world champion holding of everything. I don't think so anybody else in the universe have 5 champions from different arts.
Absolutely. Wikipedia points that out. To be a champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, in Sambo, in Judo, in wrestling, and I think catch wrestling, anything, all combined, that there is nobody else that has won at the highest level in all of the grappling arts than this man, Gokar Chavician. So absolutely amazing. Gokar, I think we've got only about 3 minutes left. So I'd like to say, when you trained with Ronda Rousey, she was undefeated. She was an amazing fighter. You had Garo Parisian, Manny Gamburian, so many great people. Can you give me, in maybe a minute or so, your thoughts about MMA? What do you think is good about MMA now, and what do you think can be improved? Maybe only 1 minute or so, if you can, or 2 minutes.
Well, I'll be honest with you. MMA is doing very well today. UFC doing, the Bellator doing, they're doing a very good job. There's a lot of other tournaments and people. I see too many people really want to fight and stuff like that. So I think people love it. That finally they found that this is the sport, is a real sport to fight. You know, like the rest of the other sport, like most of, not the Olympian sports, the rest sport for fun, but the MMA is for real fighting. Some people say I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I go into fight. Jiu-jitsu is not a fight, or judo is not a fight, Sambo is not a fight. They are sport. But when you say fight, and that's what the MMA is, you fighting.
Absolutely.
So he's doing a good job.
Absolutely. One last quick thing. Gene LeBell told me to ask you, can you give any tip about what the dark side of the moon technique is? If you have to use this, if someone is fighting crazy with you, anything that you can tell us, or it has to stay a secret?
You know, Gene LeBell told me not to tell anybody that. I understand why he's telling you to tell me.
Yes.
The dark side of the moon is our secret. Well, if we don't beat somebody the way we're supposed to beat them, we use the dark side of the moon, the secret, and that's what we break people's neck and our shoulder and arms and legs and take it with us home. You know, that's
I like it. And those secrets can be found if you go to study at one of the highest on schools around the world, right?
Yes, there is around the world. You can check the gokor.com, and there was you can find affiliate schools in all over the world. If you live close by, go check it out. Trust me, you're gonna enjoy the highest on system. It's one of the best systems right now in the world. Every time I give a seminar, everybody can wait to when the next time I'm gonna be there. So I like all the sports, jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo, but highest system is combination.
Absolutely. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. You can become probably the most complete grappler in the world if you go to one of the highest on schools. There's no better place. Gokar Chavician, I want to thank you so much, my friend. It's been an absolute honor to have you on the show, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here to chat.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to go back to training.
Absolutely. Thank you again, my friend. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too, my friend. Then please send me I can see myself.
Absolutely. We'll do that right away.
Okay.
Have a great night.
Buddy.
Thank you, Gokar. Have a good night. All right. And that was Gokar Chavician, ladies and gentlemen. We have only a minute here left, but seriously, check it out. The reality was he was training 90% of the people in the early UFC days. He did not want to fight his students out of respect for them, so he was able to pass on an opportunity to fight in the UFC, so he did not have to beat his students. But bottom line is, most people's opinions, he would have beaten Royce Gracie without too much of a problem, and would have been one of the early stars in the UFC. Excuse me, in the UFC, but still one of the most respected men in the entire world of grappling is Mr. Gokar Chavician of the highest on schools, gokar.com, anywhere in the country. If you want to be a badass, check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. Dr. Adam Roorda is going to say goodbye off the air, and I'm going to say thank you so much. We've got a great show next week. I will announce the guests coming up soon in social media. Thank you so much. Spread the love in a positive way. Be that guy, be that girl. Take care of your family, your friend, your pets. And it'll come back to you a million times. For the entire team of the MMA Power Hour, I'm Colin Crandall, and I am tapping out.